Ministry of Education, Government of India, and Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India. The event is hosted by School of Medical and Allied Sciences and IQAC cell of K.R. Mangalam University. Today we have gathered with hearts full of excitement and anticipation, ready to embark on an inspiring journey of learning and growth. It is with immense pleasure that we open the doors of this event, which celebrates passion and dedication of educators like you, who play a pivotal role in shaping the future. To all our beloved teachers, you are the guiding light to the students, igniting curiosity and sparking a love for knowledge. Your unwavering commitment to education leaves an indelible mark on young minds, and we are deeply grateful for the impact you make every day. To our esteemed guests, your presence here adds a special touch of significance to this gathering. Your support and encouragement serves as a beacon of motivation for our teacher participants as they continue to make a difference in the lives of countless individuals. As it is well quoted, every new day is another chance to change your life. With this quote, I take the advantage of welcoming our esteemed guest, Dr. Vandana Patravale ma'am. Ma'am is the National Convener, Women's Forum of Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, keeping up the legacy of having each day of our event one invited guest from the central body of APTI. We are very fortunate today to have ma'am with us. Ma'am, we are highly thankful for your cordial or gracious presence and having spared your time.
Thank you.
I request Prashant sir to please introduce ma'am. Prashant sir, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Greeting to all. I, Mr. Prashant Sharma, Assistant Professor, School of Medical and Allied Sciences, K.R. Mangalam University. It's my privilege and honor to introduce our guest. Dr. Vandana B. Patravale is currently a professor of pharmaceutics at the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, India. He has more than 30 years of teaching and research experience. She has over 200 referred publications, granted patents, 20 patents in pipeline, and 22 trademark registers. She has published 2 books and 35 book chapters with international publishers. Dr. Patravale has been active in teaching, research, and service throughout her career. She is an independent director of a device manufacturing company and listed as top 2% of world scientists in pharmacy. Her area of research included development of nanocarriers with major emphasis on infection disease, cancer and neurodegenerative disorders, medical device development, nanodiagnostic and nanovaccines. She was awarded Most Iconic Healthcare Global Leader Award 2023, Topmost Healthcare Leader Global Award Education 2022, Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Fellowship 2021, Fellowship of Indian Chemical Society 2020, Dr. Manjushri Pal Best Pharmaceutical Scientist Award 2019, OPPI Women Scientist Award 2015, Bill Melinda Gates Grant Award 2015, Best Pharmaceutical Scientist Award 2014, Wasvik Award 2013, Veneto Nanotech Award 2013, APTI Best Teacher Award 2012, Fellowship of Maharashtra Academy of Sciences 2011, and K.H. Gerda Distinguished Research Award 2009. She is convener, APTI Women Forum, Vice President, CRS, Indian Chapter, Editor CRS, IC, and APTI Women Forum newsletters, and on editorial board of peer-reviewed journals. She is actively collaborating with research and as well as industry within country and abroad, and has completed Indo-Swiss, Indo-Japan, and Indo-UK projects. She is executing all major grants from Indian government focusing on product development. She has transferred about 20 plus technology to industry, including drug-eluting stents being marketed in more than 95 countries. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you for the kind words. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So first of all, welcome on behalf of APTI Women Forum, of which I'm the convener as Dr. Hema. It is really my pleasure to see that KR Mangalam University, along with GAD as well as SGTB Khalsa College, along with my own APTI, is organizing this 1 week FTP. And believe me, I've been witness to what has been going on for last 5 days. And it's really, really great to know the kind of speakers Dr. Hema could really rope in. Each one of them had something to offer. So obviously, meaning at this point of time, what I would like to do is just summarize and give you some insights into what could be done if we as pharmacy teachers need to give quality education. We all have been working with one single aim, and that aim is that each graduate should be able to contribute to shaping a sustainable future. Now, when we talk about this, we also know that students are right now actually living in VUCA world. Now, what is VUCA? Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. So obviously, it is we teachers who can change this VUCA from volatile to vibrant, from uncertain to understanding world, from complex to the one which is full of clarity, communication, and from ambiguous to agile culture. So in order to change this VUCA, we need to inculcate many things in our students. And dear fellow teachers, broadly, these can be categorized into 3 major skill sets. And in fact, many speakers have pointed this. What are those? First is the learning skills, wherein they need to develop a mental process which is required to adapt and improve in the teaching learning environment. And for this, there are 4 C's which one has to remember. And these 4 C's are critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Then comes the literacy skills, which will determine which are the trustworthy sources and can be separated from the misinformation which we are getting. So in this literacy skills, they need to know about the foundation skills like information, media, technology. And then we have life, of course, intangible elements, but very, very important ones. So in this, first is flexibility. Can they be ready to deviate from their original plans if they work in a team? Leadership. Motivate the team members so that common goal can be achieved. initiative, if you are starting projects, what are the strategies to put them before you start a project? Then comes a productivity. That means, how do you maintain efficiency in spite of all the distractions we have today? And then comes a social skills, which definitely will involve meeting, networking, etc. Now, from my own study, I'll give you example. How do we do it? I teach, say, cosmetics. I teach regulatory pathways. So, taking example from cosmetic, we give to students basic knowledge about a product. In one lecture, we also summarize what are the advances which are happening in that field, and then give those students a problem. For example, suppose if I'm teaching lipstick, problem would be, can they come up with a novel non-petroleum based lipstick? Now all of us know, to make the lipstick of the right consistency, lot of paraffins go into it. So that means students need to now think, can they substitute the paraffins and come up with something which is as good? Believe me, in spite of touching the basics and advances from a class of 30, ICT, has 30. We have been able to maintain that because we want to give best to our students. They are, at least 3 groups will come up with novel ideas. And of course, for this, some time would be given to them. So once they come up with this, that's an individual exercise. You can probably then tell them to make groups. And in fact, it is better that teacher makes the group so that you can rope in those students who are weaker along with those students who are really above average. If you mingle them, below average people, you will see, would come up like anything, because now they have the direction, they have team leaders, they are ready to put in efforts. But unfortunately, most of the times weaker students cling together. So that has to break that. And then, can you come up with a business plan for such a product? You will be surprised that there'll be some who are very good in critical thinking. Here, critical thinking is coming into picture because they need to analyze what is there in the market. They need to see the literature. They need to look at the patents and then come up with a formula. Creativity, that flows in the labels they make. In fact, we give our students liberty to select name for their company. They can design labels using the colors they wish. These are computerized labels. They can write their own taglines. So that will overflow in creativity, because they know that if they have to get the market, they have to have a differentiated product. They learn to collaborate. So obviously, some people are good in this part. That means use of media, information, technology. And there are some who are good in analytical thinking. And finally, of course, they need to communicate this as a team to me as a teacher. So they need to present these slides, make a business plan of it. That means they'll go one step ahead, talk to other people who are doing management, learn how to present a business plan, how to do costing, and come up with something really great. By doing this, each of the team member knows that they need to be flexible. Unless they are flexible, team will not work as a team. Obviously, they need to reach a common goal. So leadership qualities are important. Someone has to take the initiative. That means a prototype formula, one person will have to write, and from where each of them will start contributing to this idea. Then comes productivity, as I said, in life skills. Once they are having all these criteria, you will see that begins the networking not only among their peers, but they would be willing to talk to other department people. So ICT, as you know, we have 9 technology branches. So they start mingling with other branches and then come up with absolutely robust thing. Another example I can take, say, from regulatory framework, wherein suppose I tell them to suggest a prototype formula for sublingual dissolving films. Make groups, they write the formula. What I do here is I tell other groups to evaluate. So since there are 30 people, each group containing 5, 6 groups, so one group presents, other 5 group mark them. And when they mark them, it is just not marking, they are allowed to ask them questions. Why did they think why those ingredients were included in the formula? So that increases each one's understanding as group. And it is not that 5 of these groups are going at different times to the blackboard. No, what I do is all 5 write the formula at once. So no one can modify their formula and it is frozen on the board. So they need to justify how that was done. Then the same groups will go ahead once we discuss this exercise. We come up with the best formula possible on my inputs, depending on others' inputs. So there's one common formula now given to them. Then we tell them to write about pilot plant scale flow chart. A flow chart, now typically they'll forget if water is being used somewhere, they'll forget that quality control of water has to be done. A most common mistake which our students do is when they write quality control, they do not write microbial load for all other preparations, which are non-sterile. So each of this pilot plant flow chart steps would be critically monitored. Then we tell them to write QTPP, CQA, CMA, CPPs. As you know, all these are elements of quality by design, so that their understanding, when they are solving this problem, as an example, it increases manyfold. Again, there are discussions, and then, of course, someone who does the best presentation in terms of identifying this with clarity will be rewarded. So every time, they would want rewarded, meaning it could be when the marks are being given, I also give marks. The student members, team members give marks, I also give marks. And believe me, they start at say 2.5 on 5. And by the time we take 2 or 3 such exercises, everyone is at 5. So that's how the quality of learning skills, literacy skills, life skills get developed into them. Talking about research. In research, you know that we are moving from multidisciplinary to interdisciplinary to transdisciplinary approaches. Multiple disciplines, as it is known, will be in multidisciplinary set under one thematic umbrella. So there's no emulsion. has to be done. You know, first is routine analysis has to be analysis method has to be so bioanalytical method. So analysis people can do that. Formulation people can design based on Q1. This formulation can be screened using, and then there is in vivo and develop a nanoemulsion of that, and then coming together to solve a problem. So then there are cross disciplines here. This can develop integrated knowledge because you are drawing conclusions and contributions from different disciplines. Example I can give, wherein we had developed medicated textiles. Now we have textile department, and ours is Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology. Just take example of a band which has to be worn, the wristband, which will keep the mosquitoes away. But textile people know how to make that band, and we know how to make it medicated, how to microencapsulate different volatile oils, which could be entrapped into these textiles to give prolonged release. So that is interdisciplinary. Same is with stents, the area where I've been working. You require inputs from material science people to design spring-like metallic structures on which we will be doing coating, which is drug-eluting coating. So all these disciplines are now interdisciplinary. And then what is transdisciplinary? Of course, this is also across different disciplines, different sectorial boundaries, but there is common goal setting. Here you have to do something which will be very, very useful for science and in turn for society. So that means goals are much broader, much larger in transdisciplinary research. It could be, say, solving water crisis. It could be solving sewage problems. It could be maybe microplastics in our rivers. So imagine you have to have NGOs coming in, you have to have microbiologists coming in, you have to have engineers, you have to have material sciences people, you need to have diagnostic people, you need to have all kind of people working together. So this is definitely going to increase the knowledge of everyone. So that's about students and their research, but teachers obviously have to have very, very good qualities. Remember that for a teacher, learning never stops. So it is your openness to learning which will take you much, much ahead. So one needs to be part of such pedagogical approaches. You have to have a developing mind. At the same time, it should be that teachers are non-biased. They need to be empathetic, honest. It is expected that if we work and have proficiency in our own subjects, the concept of Vasudev Kutumbakam, which we are saying, where we have mutual respect for each other, there's non-aggression, there's non-interference, each one grows and the institute overall grows. That is possible. So in a nutshell, I would say that education, these are the words of our own chancellor, Professor Mashelkar, who says education, research, and innovation. These are the currencies of future. We need to move from first in India type of products to first in world type of products. When you hear such things from your own chancellor, obviously would want to contribute and do something. And that's how my research escalated. First time I heard him, he said, why is it that no one is getting BMG grant from India? That's Bill Melinda Gates grant. We wrote and we got it. Then next time I heard, he indicated, there's so much working in small APIs. Why are we not working in vaccines? Professor Sharma said, why is it that biologicals, ICT is not working? Infrastructure is there, intellect is there. And then we started working on vaccines, and now there's no looking back. Intranasal COVID vaccines already in the market. So, colleagues, we all know about the old Panchashil, when China had signed the pact at Nehru's time. But our Mashelkar sir says, new Panchashil is child-centered education, women-centered family, human-centered development, knowledge-centered society, and innovation-centered India. So I believe that if all this can be done, definitely we are headed towards fostering quality in 21st century. Once again, I would like to thank Dr. Hema Chaudhary for organizing this wonderful FDP, where personally I have benefited. Believe me, the sessions which I have missed, I have gone on YouTube and replayed them. First teacher is a foreign learner. So wishing all the best to each one of you in all your endeavors in years to come. And I'm sure with APTI and APTI central support, we all can prosper together. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an igniting talk. And you have set the momentous tone required for the day. And I agree, ma'am, that teaching is more than imparting knowledge. It is rather bringing or inspiring a change. So your message is well taken. And I request you to, ma'am, stay back. We have Dr. Raman Dang with us. A very good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
So we welcome you on behalf of the ongoing FDP, and we are very thankful that you are gracing the occasion. I request Prashant sir to kindly introduce Professor Raman Dang.
Good morning, sir. Dr. Raman Dang, Principal, Kripanidhi College of Pharmacy, Bengaluru. He is currently working as Principal at Kripanidhi College of Pharmacy. He has done his PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences from Bengaluru University, Karnataka. He is presently working at Kripanidhi College of Pharmacy, Bengaluru. He was served as his services as Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University under the government of National Capital Territory, Delhi, 2017 to 19. He was served his services as Kripanidhi College of Pharmacy, Bengaluru, Professor and Principal, 2013 to 2017. He was served his services as Professor at College of Al Amin College of Pharmacy, College of Pharmacy, Bangalore. His area of research interest in formulation and evaluation of novel drug delivery system, herbal formulation, drug delivery devices, pharmaceutical practices and policies, bioavailable studies, pharmacokinetic studies, improving the use of medicine, therapeutic monitoring of drugs, plant tissue culture of medicinal and aromatic plants, phytochemical studies of medicinal and aromatic plants, standardization.
Sorry, sir, I think there's a technical glitch. He has lost the connection.
Ma'am, I'm there.
Sir, yeah.
Hello, I will. Has more
Yes,
than
sir,
30
yes, sir, please.
publications in reputed Indian journals and more than 35 publications in reputed international journals. Has represented various papers and presentation in national and international conferences. He has been awarded with many awards like gold medal for topping in Karnataka State of the award of Diploma of Pharmacy, Best Paper Award at IPC Indore, first runner-up award of paper title Cleaning Validation at 61st FIP conference held at Singapore 2001. Second prize for the paper title Stevia, a Wonder Plant at APTI International Conference. Best Oral Paper Award for the paper title Tissue of Osmium bacillum at the International Conference on Botanical at Kolkata during 25th to 26th Feb 2005. Best Poster Paper Award for title at 10th National APT Conference now. Awarded International Fellowship work in the field of environmental sciences in 2008 by Association of Pharmaceutical Research. Best Principal Award, PRISAL International Conference 2022, Thailand. Hello, thank you so much, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Hema, and all the esteemed people who are here. It's so happy to share the platform with Vandana Madam, who is our convener for Women Forum. More than that, she's a very connecting human being, very much a source of inspiration for all of us. And on behalf of my APTI President Milind Bhai and the Zone Vice President Rohit Bhai, I take this opportunity to address this gathering today. So first of all, let us congratulate the entire collaborating team, that is of KR Mangalam University, Guru Agandh Dev Teaching and Learning Center of MHRD, and of course, APTI. Dr. Hema Chaudhary is well known to me. That is, we have an association of more than 25 years, and I know that her organizing skills and determination are to do anything and everything to perfection. She excels in all the activities she takes up. She's very motivating, very talented, and see that teachers are coming up to the level of her consideration to improve. Now, what I like to say is having an online FDP is a very wise thought. This COVID has taught us this online concepts which very well connect us all. Earlier, the 2 weeks AICT, FDP, or anything, we've had difficulties to travel, to attend, though we were very inclined. Now, this is a happening thing, and it is very well organized, I'm seeing. And the past 5, 6, 7 days, the events are happening back to back from the chief guest, our esteemed Honorable Pro-Chancellor of JSS University, Suresh sir, to the speakers lined up. Entire thing is very meticulously done, and that is Hema and her team that can only do to this level. The stakeholders, all types are addressed. Teachers, very much essential it is, the FDP concepts to be taught, because we have newer teachers who are not knowing. They may have technical knowledge, they may have subject knowledge, but when it comes to the concept of teaching, reaching out to the children, whether they are understanding or not, it requires an FDP. They need to be groomed to that mental capacity to connect to every level of student, because students have various categories: slow learners, chronic absentees, fast learners. So how to reach out to them? What is the teaching methodology? Which are desirable concepts? Which are non-desirable? Which are essential components in the syllabus? So these curriculum aspects, it's very much possible if we learn the FDPs. We will be able to have lesson plans, course plans, which are integrated to the learning processes. And those of you who have gone for NAC and NBA processes, they know the importance. And of course, we have to inculcate the culture of research in our teachers. That is very, very essential. There are limited facilities in institutions. There should be an inclination for collaboration, because till you collaborate, there will not be any consultancy. The things will not move to the next level as expected by the national and international bodies. There is need for the teachers to present their paper, their work, so they know more. So how this culture will come? Through these faculty development programs. They will go to next level. They will start loving their profession. They'll start giving back to the profession that, yes, this is how it is expected for the students or for the young teachers or for anything that is there in the profession. APTI has partnered with this FDP, and we are very much happy to do that, because entire process was regulated. Each day, the APTI vice president were called, and they were made to see and look through the process. We have learned a lot from here. Now we are also doing FCM, that is the foundation course in education methodology, which was very well taken by the teachers. It is a certified course, and on request, we are also giving the credit points. And the FDP duration 15 days means 3 FDP credits they get. This happens, and that will benefit them in career advancement scheme. That will also benefit them in their NAC or NBN accreditation processes. So I request Hema-ji and others also who are conducting this FDPs, especially when they're collaborating with higher bodies like MHRD, APTI or PCI, to see that the credit points are also allotted in the certified copy to the teachers. This will have good score and confidence and also enrich their CV. And then APTI, as you know, now it is very vibrant, much more vibrant, because the president is so very concerned and dynamic to do things one after the other, whether it is group membership, whether it is any concerns to do with teacher, whether it is Vimukta Sharma, our colleague who was burned alive, to address those issues, or the job issues, or the GPAT scholarship issues, anything and everything. We have gone above the awards, above the conferences now, thanks to the Honorable APTI President to be so visionary and putting more energy and confidence in me. Each day there is something new. Now general membership has also come up. So you can well imagine he wants a corpus to be there. So the numbers are there, then we can stand for the teacher's cause at all levels. That will benefit us all. So again, coming back to the process that you're doing, we are very happy, and we thank Hema-ji for collaborating with us. And some minor suggestions I have given as like credit points, and then FDP units. If you give, then definitely teachers will be more interested to attend. Having a gathering of 100 today is a good number, and that too on a working day, that too on a Monday. So what I can say is the outcome is good. We applaud the efforts of all the organizers. And sitting at home, we have got this wonderful opportunity to attend. And we will be much more happy to collaborate with such universities, such colleges, where the focus is simple: the advancement of teachers, the progress of teachers, the progress of the profession. With these few words, I once again thank the organizers for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much, sir. Your presence is always cherished. And definitely we believe that expert in anything was once a beginner. So we take that message very well. And also we endorse that learning is more than absorbing facts. It is acquiring understanding. So through this platform, sir, even we aim that we reach out to masses and all our fellow teachers understand that learning has to be a lifelong process, and we reach out to our youngsters so that we can create a good world to live in the coming times. With this note, sir, as a token of gratitude from the organizing team, we kindly request you to accept this virtual memento on our behalf. I request my technical team to kindly display the slide. Raman sir, thank you so much, and please accept this.
Thank you. Accepted with honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I request ma'am, Vandana ma'am. From our side, a small token of gratitude through this virtual memento. Kindly accept on our behalf, ma'am. Thank you so much for having spared your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Doing your best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, we request you, in case if it's possible, kindly keep with us. You can stay back. We'll be starting around 11:45, the valedictory function.
I will try my best. Yeah.
Right, ma'am. Right. Thank you so much. Well, continuing with the day's proceedings, we would be starting with our valedictory function from 11:45. Till then, we will have one more session, one more technical session, and I request Prashant sir to kindly introduce the session.
Hello, I'm audible, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
It's my privilege and honor to introduce this session. Professor Dr. Hema Chaudhary, Dean and Professor, School of Medical and Applied Sciences, University. She has done her PhD from Jamia Hamdard University in Pharmaceutical Sciences. She have a number of publications and papers and presenting number of conferences. She has been awarded with many awards, publication in international journals, national and international conferences and seminars. She is a member of various professional bodies like life membership in the Association of Pharmaceutical Teacher of India, lifetime membership in Association of Biotechnology, and registered pharmacist in Delhi Pharmacy Council. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Prashant sir. Well, dear participants, this session is basically to understand that since we have been learning and listening to so many expert teachers, so this is just an attempt to summarize in the form of this presentation. So today I'm lucky enough that I got a slot wherein I can share my views. So today I'll be talking on the topic empowering pharmacists of 21st century. Since I belong to the pharma fraternity, so I take it as my responsibility that I speak precisely with my domain. And the topic is generally with respect to the 21st century skills, which will make a pharmacist more competent and more market ready. So with this note, I take this opportunity to go ahead. Well, I'm not going very fundamentally, but before I start, when we talk about 21st century, we have been hearing of the buzz news right from the beginning of this century, right from 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers of World Trade. This is how the century started. So that was a very shocking news when we heard that 9/11 attacks on Twin Tower, and then followed by, we had the next invention that which brought a miraculous change was the invention of iPhones. That was in 2007. The company launched Apple phones. So again, that transformed technology. We had in 2008, a flash news, Barack Obama. He was the first African American president. So we have been witnessing in this century, right from its start, lot of changes and lot of new things for the first time. 2013, the world said goodbye to anti-apartheid. That is, we could overcome or abolish apartheid altogether. We also understood that in 2014, Malala Yousafzai became the youngest recipient of Nobel Prize. So if we keep browsing through the headlines, we have been witnessing a lot of historical events in this century. So why not we understand what is the need of a pharmacist in this century? So that is why an attempt has been made in this presentation that we understand where we stand and where we need to go in order to survive and in order to excel in this era. So for that reason, we go back to our fundamentals to understand who is a pharmacist. As we have multiple definitions, it is fraught to give a generic definition, but we can define based on what is the sector of work one is employed, whether the pharmacist is a career stage, that is what stage of career he is endorsing, and what experience he holds. So if I say the sector of work, it could be education, it could be industry, it could be regulatory. When we talk about the pharmacist career stage, basically this is as per the definition of the Royal Britain Society of Royal Society, wherein there are different stages where a pharmacist is identified. When we talk about stage 1, we call it as the pre-foundation stage. Now, pre-foundation stage is when we are at UG level, PG level, or as a trainee, that once we have completed our education, we are interns. Stage 2 is referred as the foundation program. That is, once we are registered. So for registration, we have to accomplish a mandate of basic training hours. After we are registered, 1,000 days of our experience, we are considered to be in stage 2, which we call it as the foundation program. And then we come to the faculty program, where we become independent, accomplished professionals. And when we talk about experience, it is mainly what is the total working years one has invested in a particular field, because with experience, a person becomes more competent and his ability to manage complexity problems becomes more. So this is how I believe one can understand what is the definition of a pharmacist. Now, we have been seeing this slide since ages when we were students. We have understood that there are multiple conventional roles where a pharmacist is supposed to fit in. So we talk about practice settings broadly, we talk about other settings, and definitely we talk about pharma industry. Because pharma industry has revolutionized the healthcare system, and we as Indian participants, we stand third in case of volume. And with respect to value, we are placed 11th. So for that reason, pharma industry is the biggest contributor of Indian economy. So we have been talking about the conventional roles of pharmacists. Now the arena has gone beyond this conventional profile. But talking about the timeline, depicting what are the key roles of pharmacists over the first half millennium. So if you look back in last 500 years, we can understand from where our journey started and where we are currently. Now, when we start from the beginning, that is in 1600s, the pharmacist was considered to be just a manufacturer of drugs and purveyor of medicinal products. So that means the purpose was with the pharmacist profession was only manufacturing drug and supply of drugs. Then came the time wherein the pharmacist also indulged in dispensing of medicines. So the pharmacist became competent enough to understand the prescribing habits of a physician and then go in with manufacturing or extemporaneous preparation and supply of drugs to the patient. With the advent of more advancements, the pharmacist, after having played the role of a dispenser and manufacturer in 1900s, also started doing checking of prescriptions. So he entered gradually into clinical aspect and he was referred as a clinical checker. So where the journey started, we started with manufacturing and supply of medicines. We went into dispensing aspect. Then the role of clinical checker began. Then came the time when the pharmacist also started bringing his knowledge into play and he started giving service. Though he was only a clinical checker, but then he started understanding the topic very well and he started imparting service. So we refer it as clinical service. So the red part of the timeline shows that he started playing a role with medicine optimization service. So he understood that what is the best thing to be given to an individual patient, and the concept of personalized medicine started. And now we are in the time where we talk about optimization services. That is, we are not only restricting to manufacturing, supply, clinical consultation, we are also optimizing as per the need of the patient. So this is how the role of a pharmacist has evolved in the first half of the millennium. Now, having understood the timeline, from where the journey started and where we are currently, we cannot shy away from what is there in future for us. Now, there has been a paradigm shift in the healthcare environment. When we talk about the healthcare landscape, we are in a world of technology. So as we have been hearing that now is the time of Industrial Revolution 4, we need to understand the impact with the healthcare environment as well. Because everywhere there is Internet of Things. That is, the technological advancements which has happened in healthcare has led to digital health. Now, digital health is a platform where if we need a patient information, we have access and transmission of health information through the electronic medical records. So when we are in the time where everything is just one click away, we need to prepare ourselves to be aware and ready for the future. Also, we have been witnessing the explosion of knowledge in respect to healthcare scenes, especially in the field of molecular biology and biotechnology. With respect to this, we understand that now we have seen very recently the witness of the development of corona vaccine. So with respect to our professional expertise, we need to expand our horizons to understand the paradigm shift. Not only is the impact of technology in healthcare, also the reason of understanding the change, the need for change is the rising public and patient expectation. Today, the country is well educated, rather the public around the globe is very well educated. So public awareness of medication is tremendous. Not are the days where the doctor used to mix some powders and hand over. Today, the person or the public is aware of the needs. Then also with the impact of technology, there has been an increase in the role of self-medication, OTC drugs. Small ailments, a layman can handle himself rather than taking medical consultation. And also the expansion of health-related information on the internet. So because of such rising and public and patient expectation, it is imperative that a pharmacist of future is ready to satisfy this expectations. The paradigm shift is also in the healthcare environment because of the demographic change in the population. Now, we are having population who are in the age group of 70 plus. The healthcare system, one side, has helped us to overcome the health-related issue of the aging population, but at the same time, the longevity has increased. Now, average lifespan has been around 75 years, especially for the generation which were born before 1970. So that particular generation which is aging, the population of aged people is increasing, and with this, the chronic problems which has to be treated is to be kept in mind. So the healthcare environment has to accommodate the requirements of this aging population. Also, one more challenge is in the era of polypharmacy. With the advancement of medical science, we have more problems and complex therapies being used wherein multiple drugs are given. So whenever multiple dose therapy is adapted, we need to understand its kinetics very well. And also the biggest challenge is poor medication adherence. In this mechanized world, where every individual is busy and there is paucity of time, we need to induce sense of responsibility with respect to medication behavior, especially with drugs which need regular monitoring. So having understood what is the paradigm shift in the thought process, so as we understood, there is the impact of technology, there is increase in awareness and expectation, and there is a very dramatic change in the healthcare environment. It is very, very important that the pharmacist of the future has to understand the purpose of change. So that is the reason why we talk about why we need to change. Now, one thing to understand is with the passage of time, change is inevitable. So change is always present. And it is also to understand that there is a high influence of technology within pharmacy in a myriad of ways. Just one example to quote, we talk about artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is not only helping in other fields, but in pharma, it will be of a lot of use to understand the importance of drug interactions. So when it is used in the right way, it could be as a boon. Otherwise, it could serve as a bane. We also need to understand that the change is very important because the demography of the public is changing and longevity of population has increased. And the globalization of talent and continued striving for innovation will help us to overcome these challenges. So with the changing times, we need to be abreast with this demand. Also, the government is playing a very critical role by implementing number of health policies. But since there is wider economy shift, we will be needing to reconfigure these services so that we bring in new models which will fit in the healthcare scenario. So please understand that the roles will continue to change as per the needs and expectations of patients or service users. So we need to keep remembering ourselves that we need to keep learning and changing as per the needs and expectations with the times. It is very well said by Alfred Toffler, the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So let's take a pledge here that what we have learned, we'll unlearn, and we will again relearn with a new zeal to use it in our day-to-day working. It is also very well understood that the ability to adapt to change and change in career is which is very crucial to make a difference, to find what we exist now and where we will exist from 5 years from now. If we want to remain present, of course we are there. But if we want to live after 5 years, we need to understand that we need to go with the time. So as Darwin quoted, it is not the strongest of the species that will survive, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that will be most adaptable to change. So we need to bear in mind that change is inevitable. Now, this is a slide which talks about very general skills which are very important, irrespective of whether it be pharma profession or any other profession for that matter. These are the 21st century skills that one has to be adapting to. We need to be critical thinkers and problem solvers. Of course, as Madam pointed out, we need to have collaborative attitude so that our networking is broadened and we are led by influence of others. We need to be very fast in our movement and adaptability. We need to be initiative prone, and we should also have the capability of being an entrepreneur in ourselves. So we should not be hesitant in taking up or starting up a new thing. We have to be very effective in communication. whatever way of communication, be it whether be oral or written. We also have to understand how to access and analyze information. And of course, we have to have a very curious mind and a very, very broad imagination so that we survive. Now, when we talk about pharmacist, I will not touch it very elaborately, but what is the role of pharmacist? We can understand in three different settings. One is pharmacy practice. The other is pharmacy education and pharma industry. The pharmacy practice, we were only talking about patient care. Now, basically, we wanted to give the right product, and we used to keep that we have been very good in selecting the right approach for a patient. But now the domain is not restricted with just being product focused. The domain has shifted from being product focused to patient focused. Now, we also have to give a thought whether the product which we are going to give to the patient, what will be the outcome from the patient. So that is very, very important. Previously, we were talking in a very generalized way that a person or a patient is being given the right medication and the job is done. Now, we need to understand that the same medication may not be suited for masses. We have to go by the need of the individual patient. With the concept of 3D printing coming in, the days are not far away, wherein based on individual patient's need, each clinic will be giving the medication as per the demand. So the role of pharmacist has to be an overall healthcare provider. So there has been a paradigm shift in the pharmacy practice settings. So from product focused to patient focused. When we talk in context of pharmacy education, our mindset was that with good teaching, we are preparing our students to manufacture drugs. But now we are not restricting only to the skills of manufacturing, but we also make our students understand that once the product is manufactured, marketed, and consumed by a patient, what is expected from the patient or what should be the outcome of the patient. So now we quote it as it is not only product focused, it is product focused to patient plus product. So we are not giving away our responsibility of manufacturing quality drugs, but at the same time, we also stretch to understand what will be the patient outcome. So now it has become much challenging to care chronic diseases, management of diseases, and also we are into preventive care. So we are not only being confident and successful in overcoming chronic diseases, but we are also imparting our roles in preventive care. Now, when we talk with respect to pharma industry, previously the pharma industry concept was limited to just manufacturing and putting it into the market, that is lab to patient, or maybe from one patient to the another patient. But now, since we talk about Industrial Revolution 4.0, we are talking about the terminology of we have elements, it could be a medicine or a formulation, and we have to reach out to the enablers. Enablers could be multiple chain of events, finally the patient outcome. So keeping all these three aspects of pharmacy practice, education, or pharma industry, now the paradigm is mainly focused on patient care. What is the outcome? What is the purpose of doing all this? The main purpose is we are getting quality, we are getting outcome, we are getting cure. So for that reason, now the field has to be integrated in such a way that our students are skilled not only with good knowledge, but hands-on training and doing with purpose. So that has to be the motive in whatever subjects we are engaging ourselves, and we are making our generation ready. Let's all take a pause for 1 second. I'll be again going a little bit delving into the details of each type of setting, whether we practice education or manufacturing. So very quickly, let's take a pause and put a question to ourselves. How will the pharmacy practice evolve to meet the needs of the 21st century healthcare system? So if we are in practice settings, our students who are graduating out from PharmD program, now they need to understand that where are they going to be headed in the time to come for, especially in the healthcare system. So when we take a pause and rethink, the solution is that we have to change our way of working. As already I mentioned that previously the clinical care was only with respect to medicine review or medicine optimization. selecting the right medicine, discussing that this is going to be worthwhile to give a therapeutic outcome. But we have to now talk about clinical decision making. Now we have to adapt to a model which we refer it as clinical decision making, which includes the following steps. The role starts from collecting information, reasoning out the message, being judgmental, taking a firm decision, enacting to that decision so that you get the best patient outcome. So now the role has become broader and it has to be very, very wisely done. And this is only possible when they are ready with the skills and the knowledge. So direct patient care. Now it is the pharmacist who is actually into direct patient care, and his responsibility for individual patient's medicine has to be worked on so that the patient outcomes is improved. This clipping shows that a practice setting pharmacist is not only restricting to doing retailing or being in community pharmacy, he is also involved with the direct patient care. So pharmacy clinics in Western world, we have the concept of pharmacy clinics, wherein the pharmacist is allowed to carry out some medical tests. We also call them as diabetes clinics or blood pressure clinics. Then we also have the picture showing that how a private pharmacist is doing patient counseling. So now the role of a practice setting pharmacist has broadened. Now, whenever we talk about what will be the advancement with respect to practice setting, we call the terminology as pharmaceutical care concept. Now, pharmaceutical care concept is a very broader term wherein all the above mentioned roles will be amalgamated. So the pharmacist will not only be able to order, interpret drug therapy related tests, he will also perform patient assessments, he will manage the disease states, he will be very much patient-centered to give an individualized therapy or pharmaceutical service, and he will also make the practice more practical, and also it will be in the favor of either holding diabetes clinics or blood pressure measurement clinics. So this is the future. So it is very imperative that the people who are engaged in pharmacy settings or practice settings prepare the next clan of generation for the pharmaceutical care concept. Now, when we talk about pharma education, since we are in the 21st century, one has to be very clear that nothing is uncertain as the future. We don't know what is there in future for us, but by using two more well-known components of time, that is the past and the present, we can plan or understand our future. So with this motive of being aware of the past and the present, we need to plan our future. Now we are in an era of education where our syllabi are being revamped, but otherwise we have a lot of limitations when we talk about pharmacy educations. Maybe there are a number of pitfalls in the system, but to name some pitfalls, maybe we are into the syllabi which is indistinct and unspecialized. Not a problem. We might be unable to attract meritorious students because generally medical students first option is always to go for medical sciences, then opt for pharmaceutical sciences. We also have tight boundaries and less integration with other sources, but definitely the horizons have broadened now. Ma'am mentioned about interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach. Also, I believe now post-COVID era, this problem to some extent is overcome where socially, industrially, clinically exposure was less. But now I think pharmacy profession and pharmacy healthcare providers are well taken in the society. We also might be having inability to inculcate problem-solving attitude because we are into monotonous doing, but the times are changing. Our research output from institution is rarely for commercialization because we are mainly towards printing of publications rather than thinking of revenue generation or bringing some social cause out of it. Our mindsets are rigid because we are not very much prone to change, but times are changing. and we are not training the manpower as per the market need. So there is a disconnect between industry and academia, though this has been debated on number of platforms, but real problem is still not being aware, because there is a gap which is to be bridged from the industries and academicians both. Now, the best approach to overcome these lacunas is by going with a TQM approach in pharmacy education. Now, TQM is doing self-assessment so that we are always maintaining quality. So TQM is the right approach where we can start with having synergetic relationship. We can go with teamwork and collaboration. Maybe my expertise is in one field. Maybe the other group has a better expertise with other aspect. So why not collaborate? So the synergy will bring in good performance, and production will be enhanced because the pool of talent. So just ma'am mentioned with ICT that they have this concept of bringing in teamwork and collaboration. The second concept under TQM, which one can understand, is continuous improvement. We need to sit back. Even Dr. Bakshi in his talk mentioned that every frequent timing, you need to do your self-assessment. So we need to improvise on our own strengths and rigorously do self-evaluation. So it's an ongoing continuous process. We need to understand what is the strength of our students, what is the individual learning styles of our students, and what are the different levels of intelligence of our students. If we are able to understand this, now we have already started with mentorship attitude, wherein the mentors are taking in mentees under them and grooming them. Also, a system of ongoing process, we need to keep abreast with what is the demand of the current times, and we need to bring in the right orientation amongst our students. And of course, leading the way. That is by leadership. So as already Dr. Bakshi mentioned in his last talk, that every teacher is an academic leader. So one has to understand his roles and bring in the change. So leaders always work behind the scene. So that is very important, that if we want our next generation to shine, to bring laurels, to be Nobel laureates, it's very unfortunate that our country since 1927 did not produce a single Nobel laureate. So though we are very good in research, we are third in volume, 11th in value, still we need to think, we need to assess why or where are we lacking that our country is not able to produce even a single Nobel laureate. Whereas if we compare with other countries like Ireland, which is a very smaller country compared to India, there are a number of Nobel laureates being produced. So it is on this platform, we need to rethink, we need to understand that there is something which we are missing. So if we are not wise enough, we will not be able to manage the gap which is already stepped in. It's going to be 100 years now that our country, and we were the one who brought in the invention of zero. It was the Charaka and Shushruta who started the profession of medicine. So definitely we need to reconsider, revamp ourselves and start fresh. So one example is we need to make our students aware of the new avenues of the future. Rather than moving away from the conventional mindset, we can tell the students about new courses. We can introduce such new courses in our universities related to health informatics. So that is only possible when we join hands with technology people. So wherever we have medicine and engineering together in one university under the umbrella of one university, it is high time we collaborate. Now, when we are preparing the generation of pharmacists for the 21st century, we have to equip them with a lot of skills. So skilling of the student is very important so that he is being made with a mindset of all the skills which I mentioned needed for the 21st century. So anyhow, I'm not reading out this slide, but basically we have to make our student be a critical thinker, be an enabler. He has to be an entrepreneur. He has to collaborate. He has to understand innovation. He has to build professionalism. He has to graduate out with a lot of skills, attributes to his credit. He needs to do a lot of other courses along with his regular curriculum. So kindly introduce VAC courses, value-added courses along with curriculum, so that our children get aware. Now, the UGC has also made it mandatory or made it possible that if a student has the ability, he can enroll in dual degree. In 3 years' time, a student is entitled to take a dual degree. So it was not the time when we were passing out, but our youngsters, our young minds, they have been pushed to the level where they can challenge their own potential. So we have to make our children ready for the 21st century. This is one education model for practice settings, which I could gather, and I have taken it from a reference wherein a teacher's role is not only providing curriculum material, but also a teacher has to be an all-rounder with giving good curriculum materials, teaching methods, assessment methods, and practical settings, that is clinical settings. So in the sense, a teacher should not only teach well, but teaching skill should be such that the class is gripped. A teacher should be, the way of assessment should be very clear, transparent, and the outcome-based evaluation should be worthwhile for the students to learn and hands-on training. So the learning experience after which the student is going to gain will not only make him strong with knowledge, skills, and his attitude. So that is why we say that whenever, based on Grover Sir's outcome-based education lecture, he emphasized that we should have core subjects, we should have value-added subjects, we should have skilling subjects, so that our curriculum should be an amalgamation of all the subjects where we have core subjects of this pharmacy. Apart from that, we are also making our students skilled and values. We need to teach the right attitude. Knowledge without right attitude will never be of use. So best practices with patients. So we need to teach our students even humbleness, so that the student is able to come out with outcome. The outcome will be patient oriented. So this is one model wherein right from teacher to the patient outcome. So that is why in my previous slide I had mentioned it is not only product, it is product and patient. So in education setting, so now we are in the era of education 4.0. Pharma is not left behind. This is mainly with the concept of pharma settings, pharma education 4.0. Now, the crux of the change of pharma education is we have to adapt this model 4.0 within pharmacy as well. We need to be very oriented that we are going to manufacture product which is desired, but also focus on the outcome from the patient. So that's possible when a pharmacist will not only be a problem solver, he will also be an educator and he will be an advocate to whatever he has invented. So the future is totally based on interprofessional collaboration. So this is with respect to education. The last segment is with respect to pharma industry. I'm not going to read out, but very quickly, I'll just pass through this. It is mainly the challenges which the manufacturer faces, the market challenges, and the customer changes. Only then a product is sold. So whether we are dealing directly with manufacturing or we are engaged in marketing, that is our children are going into marketing and sales, the purpose is we have to reach out to the customer challenges. Only then the product which was invented, formulated, designed will reach to the patient. So the 7 skill sets necessary to operate in pharma industry, especially in the 21st century, I have mentioned. First and foremost, the student who is going to enter into pharma industry should have the ability to manage decentralized intellectual capital resources. He has to be a smart player. He also should know how to work in joint ventures across divisions, whether within an industry or across countries. He should have the ability to understand and integrate intellectual property laws. He should have knowledge not only with production, machinery, preparation methodology, but also business strategies and IPR rights. He should also have the ability to spur creativity. He should bring in something new. He should have knowledge and insight to make the right decision. And he should play with the dynamics of payers. The people who are investing into pharma industry, they need the outcome in the form of profit. So he should be profit oriented. He should also have the expertise in functioning and decision making with respect to regulatory agencies and very challenging management of human resource skills. Very, very important. Of course, AI being coming into pharma manufacturing, but nothing would be possible without human being, because the kind of EQ which a human can bring in, the machine can never bring it. So how to manage human resource skill is the challenge which every industry is facing today. So when we talk about heading towards pharma industry 4.0, we have a lot of things which we call it as amalgamation of Internet of Things, big data analytics, artificial intelligence coming in. One has to be a logistic planner. He should not waste his resources. He should focus on increased productivity. He should cut down the cost and increase efficiency if he has to sustain and grow in pharma industry. So this is one model. Again, it's from a reference wherein now the manufacturing is not only focused from product to patient. It is actually shown in this one diagram with the digitalization of pharma industry, how wisely the data integrity by design concept is used, and all the right from resources to information systems to processes and to the culture is controlled to get the best output. So this was just an overview because all my colleagues and all are very much abreast with this information. But now is the part which I really wish to discuss. These are my perceptions, how we can play with the young minds, how we can train. These are very general techniques and tactics, how we can engage our young farmers. So I call them as young farmers. So first and foremost is we need to go by accept 8-second attention span. Now, what is this 8-second attention span? Actually, Microsoft company came out with a study that the human being attention is now reduced from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. So now if I have to talk or hold an attention of an individual, I just have 8 seconds. After 8 seconds, the individual will not give me his time. So if you have to impress somebody, you have to be like a goldfish, because goldfish is an example which cannot remain stationary beyond 8 seconds. So we have surpassed even a goldfish. So what we need to do is when we are dealing with such challenging students, we need to be a little more over smart. We have to give in a lot of information with minimum of communication. So that is communicate less content, mainly in short, sharp bursts. So use emojis. So youngsters, the language which on mobile, on WhatsApp we use emojis. If we have to write one expression, we just post an emoji. So we are not wasting time texting anything. We use videos. We use verbose emails, and we use memorandums. Now, gone are the days where we write paragraphs. It has to be very quick. With this spur of a second, we have to be reachable to the others. So have a system in place to adapt technological needs. So please adapt to the technological advancement. Talk to youngsters, understand their language. What is the language they communicate? Try to adapt that, bring in your teaching. So this is how one way we can give in a lot of things to our youngsters within no time. Second is create a community. Now, when you create a community, NB is a Latin term. N stands for notare, that is to note, and bean is well, that is note well the matter of hand. You have to be very confident when you talk to your students. If you're shaky, they will outrule you. You need to be very, very confident. Confidence comes with good knowledge and good communication. So first work on your weaknesses so that you build your strengths with respect to communication and knowledge. Then become a mentor in true sense to your mentee. It is not just theoretical. You have to show that individualized approach. Take him into your custody. Be his mentor in true sense, whether it be emotional, whether it be educational, you need to stand by. Undo hierarchy. Treat them as equals. Of course, respect is something which comes, but undo hierarchy. Don't be so difficult to reach out where your youngsters cannot talk to you. So undo that hierarchy and reach out to them. Then gain buy-in for all company initiatives. This is a kind of marketing language that is, even if you want to bring in a change and you know that people are not supporting it, just have patience. Sometimes going their way will make them happy. So don't try to bring in a revolution overnight because maybe the community is not ready for it. Try to join in social media groups. Of course, we had a kind of coaching when we were students that we need to respect our teachers. Of course, that still remains. but we were very shy in connecting to our teachers. But now is the time where we need to be in their social media groups. Incorporate SM into work where possible. SM stands for sadomasochism. That is powerful pleasure. You have to bring in a powerful pleasure, not only in your family, because now the time which we spend with our family is getting curtailed, and personal life within boundaries. So you need to know how to make everybody happy. You should have that strategy, and you have to come out of your shyness. Then, of course, never miss out the opportunities to collaborate. This is one more concept by which we can reach out to our young minds. The third concept, which I believe is me concept. That is, individualize your approach. Now, you know your mentee well. Play to their strengths. You try to understand what are their strengths. Try to find the best fit to fit individuals' desired career path. Play to their strength. Groom them accordingly. Don't try to groom them into which you have the expertise. You need to be expert with the strengths which the student demands. So you have to change, not they. Go with personalized trainings. You will have to shell in more time because each patient, each student has to be taken individually. So you will have to go by optimization technique. Then you will also have to plan individualized development plans. Each student is different. So you will have to go in by individual concept. Then go by one-on-one feedback biannually and take it regularly. Try to go with the progression analysis. See what is the succession. And if possible, be flexible with working hours and location. Next is be transparent. It is very important to involve and include. So bring in that powerful pleasure factor whenever you succeed. Now we are dealing with, we are Generation X. People who were born in 1970 were called as Generation X. Then we had Generation Y. Now the problem is with Generation X and Generation Y, we are very hungry for having more responsibility. We are not ready to give away the responsibility or vacate our chairs because we are striving to keep abreast with Generation Z, that is centennials, those who are born in 2000. We are competing with them. So when we are Generation X and Y, we are feeling excluded. So we have to gear up so that we are in the loop and we are not left behind. So you cannot say that I don't know how to use this particular gadget. It is you who has to learn if you have to be in the race. Get with the program. So this picture shows how our generation, now in fact we are in Generation Alpha. The people born after 2010 is called as Generation Alpha. Now the generation is the digital natives. They are born with technology. So we have to speak their language. Where possible, we have to be aware. So we have to be lit ourselves. We cannot be shady. We cannot say that I don't know. Now we have to get into education by gaming. We have to bring in gamification. We have to infuse training programs and take up other initiatives. So as this cartoon picture shows that since we are dealing with Generation Y, Generation Z, and if I talk about myself, I am Generation X. So we are getting outdated. But then since it's a technology savvy world, we have to adapt. We cannot remain to our old schooling and we have to be innovative. We have to be interactive so that our skills and novel ideas show that we have the potential. We have to be having the hunger for progression. So as this cartoon, it says that I have read about all the butterflies, but I want to know what is Bitcoin. So as you know, this is a currency, a digital currency. So the boy comes and says is that don't ask me to play with cartoons and butterflies. Those days have gone. You tell me about what is Bitcoin. So this is the way we are leading our generation. So please understand, for our survival, the way forward is be engaged in continual lifelong learning. So keep yourselves knowledgeable, skilled, and technology savvy. Enhance knowledge and skills, develop personal and professional capabilities, embrace technology, motivate a different generation. We have to motivate a generation which is ahead of us. So we have to be connected. We cannot bear to be disconnected. Never stop evolving. So also leverage skills of young farmers. So this is something which is very, very inevitable. So the learning outcomes of whatever I've tried in my session is that we have understood what is the role of a pharmacist, why there is a paradigm shift in the healthcare environment, so that change is required. We spoke about 21st century skills. We also spoke about how we need to grow as a pharmacist, whether we are in pharmacy settings, practice settings, educational settings, or industry settings. Then the last segment was with respect to strategies or techniques or tactics to play with young farmers, and of course, to look into what is the way forward. So it is very well said that successful and unsuccessful people do not vary greatly in their ability. They vary only in their desire to reach their potential, as quoted by John Maxwell. With this positive note, thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for your patient hearing. I believe our guests have joined, and very quickly we will be now switching to our valedictory function.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Well, very good afternoon. We'll be starting with the valedictory function. During this program, we are going to witness the gracious presence of the chief guest of the session, Professor Jaswinder Singh sir, and the guest of honor, Professor Vimal Ram ma'am. We are just waiting for Professor Jaswinder Singh sir to join. Very good afternoon to Professor Jaswinder Singh, sir. And good afternoon to Professor Vimal ma'am.
Hanji, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes. So with your permission,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, ma'am, with your permission, can we start the validatory session?
Please. Good afternoon, Principal Sir. Yeah.
Hanji, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished faculty members and esteemed participants and honored guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this momentous occasion, the validatory function of our faculty development program. Over the past 6 days, we have embarked on a journey of growth, learning, and camaraderie. Today, we gather here to celebrate the culmination of our collective efforts and the transformation that has taken place in each one of us. This event not only marks the end of an inspiring chapter, but also the beginning of a new era entitled or enriched with knowledge, experience, and renewed passion for teaching. Without further ado, let us come together to cherish the moment, acknowledge the milestones, and express our gratitude to those who have made this remarkable journey possible. Sir and ma'am, we are very thankful for your gracious presence. Professor Jaswinder Singh has consented and is here with us as the chief guest of the session. And ma'am, thank you so much for having accepted our invite. And ma'am is gracing the occasion as the guest of honor and the keynote speaker. Before I request our chief guest to deliver his address, I wish to give an overview of the FDP. Sir and ma'am, this 7-day FDP was a comprehensive and learning experience designed to empower educators with the latest pedagogical approaches, technological advancements, and best practices in the field of education. Day 1, we had orientation and pedagogical foundations, wherein the participants were introduced to the objectives and schedule of the program. Also, this day focused on fundamental principles of effective teaching learning theories and learner-centered approaches by thoughtful sessions by Professor B. Suresh and Professor A.K. Bakshi. Day 2 of this FTP was based on collaboration and skill set, wherein we dwelled into the importance of collaboration and networking among educators, and skills and other engaging approaches to enhance student engagement and learning outcomes were discussed by the renowned speakers, Professor Vijita Agarwal and Dr. Pooja Sharma. Day 3 of this FDP was mainly focused on ranking framework and technology integration in education, and was dedicated to understanding the significance of ranking framework and integration of technology in education. Participants were aware about educational tool, digital resources, and e-learning platforms by our renowned speakers, Professor Jaswinder Singh and Mr. Janaki Raman. Day 4 was focused on research, innovation, and curriculum design, wherein the focus shifted to research and publication, and also the guidance on developing curriculum-based on outcome-based education approach in line with NEP 2020 by our invited speakers, Dr. Datta from DST and Professor Grover. Day 5, the discussion was on NIRF ranking and academic leadership, and it centered on understanding ranking framework and professional development and academic leadership skills. We had with us renowned speakers, Professor A.K. Bakshi, as well as Professor Grover. Today, we had a session based on what is the 21st century skills for pharma entrepreneurs by Dr. Hema. And now we will be witnessing during the validatory function the keynote address by Professor Vimal ma'am. Throughout this 7 days FDP, participant engagement in guest lectures by renowned experts was tremendous. The program aimed to foster a community of passionate educators committed to continuous improvement and providing quality education to their students. I also take this opportunity on this platform to extend my acknowledgements to all the guests of APTI who made it possible to witness event every day and even today. I also request all the participants to join me and appreciate with a warm round of applause to all the incredible facilitators, mentors, organizers who made this event possible. Now the valedictory function as it has commenced, now it is the time we invite our chief guest of the event, Professor Jaswinder Singh Sir, to deliver his address. May I request Prashant Sir to introduce our chief guest to the audience.
Greeting to all. I, Prashant, Assistant Professor, SMS, KR Mangalam University.
Prashant ji, since, I have already delivered a lecture and I presume, the detailed introduction was given there. So kindly, be brief and we can start off, directly. There is.
Oh.
Hanji.
Okay. Okay. Professor Jaswinder Singh. He is currently working as principal, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Director, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, established under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teaching and Training Learning by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India at Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Executive Director, Center for E-Learning, established 2014 under the UGC EPG Pathshala project to develop e-content for postgraduate courses in economics, commerce, business economics, sociology, chemistry, and forensic sciences at Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Principal in charge, National Resource Center of MHRD at Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College. He is member of other UGC committee, to review the autonomous status of college 2009 and 2004. Convener of the UGC committee to draft undergraduate course for the implementation of choice-based credit system. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you now.
Thank you, Dr. Dotsab, for giving this nice introduction. Let me at the outset express our gratitude to the University, KR Mangalam University, and its Vice Chancellor, Professor C.S. Dubey, for organizing this very wonderful one-week faculty development program. I'm thankful to my colleague, Professor Vimal Raj, Dr. Hema Chaudhary, Sunil ji, and many others, especially those who have joined as as part of this program to know something that we are doing, and also which is useful for them in their classroom conduct. As Dr. Hema has already, given you the brief of what was covered during this one-week program, the focus of this faculty development program was on sharing knowledge on the pedagogical methodologies, the techniques, the ICT tools that we can use in making our classroom teaching more interesting, more involving, more inclusive, in fact, and also, thinking how we can improve the quality of teaching both inside and outside the classroom. I'm sure many of these tools will help all of us who have joined, in improving the content that we write, especially for the classrooms. The research and publications part has also been covered very effectively, which is, of course, very essential and the basic part of our teaching learning process. But the classroom teaching sometimes, in pursuit of research, sometimes we forget, how important the classroom teaching is. These days, especially when the students have number of alternatives to the knowledge that we deliver, they can only be retained in the classroom, if we give them something extra, if we give them something which is more interactive, if we give them something which is more relevant from the present context. And I think the new education policy, the National Education Policy 2020, has opened up a kind of, has given us an opportunity and also opened up many platforms where we can interact. Many of us will be interacting at various fora. Some confined to our subject, some confined to the common training programs, and also some which are exclusively dedicated to the content creation. I think when the teacher is teaching, his basic responsibility is to infuse new ideas in the minds of the students. Reading the textbooks is one part, but updating that knowledge with the latest in your field is very important. I can, since I am a student of economics, I can tell you no teacher of economics can teach if he doesn't keep himself abreast with the latest in economics. Maybe not in all the fields, but in those disciplines and in those areas of economics where we are teaching and we are trying to engage the students. And similarly, the case is with any other subject. Maybe it is political science, maybe it is chemistry, maybe it is the life sciences. You can see the speed with which the technology is changing, the flow of information is changing, and also especially when we find that the climate change is occurring, and it is not confined to just one region of the world. It is spread all over, and it is affecting every ecosystem in the world. So be it America, be it Philippines, be it India, be it China, all developed and underdeveloped countries or the developing societies, they are experiencing this, this impact of climate change. And I think the presidency of G20 to India still gives us a lot of opportunity to interact within and outside also, so that we can develop our own networks with the teachers. We can share our experience. For instance, in India, in the northern, part of India, you can see during the last almost 3 weeks, there were constantly, these areas were under floods. Very productive soil, which was growing, the rice and other crops, they were flooded and they were destroyed. And how the farmers have handled this situation, this experience is very important, especially for the agriculturists, especially for the teachers who are students of botany and zoology. It has affected the entire flora and fauna of this. So, incorporating this into our classroom will widen the scope, and also, we will be able to share the content that we generate. Khalsa College, or our Center for E-Learning, primarily when we started this journey almost, I think 12 years back, we were primarily concerned with the generation of the content, that how good content can be created and shared with others. We started with a small vision. We were not sure that we will be able to do it, but we are thankful to the Ministry of Education, the University Grants Commission, which gave us, or the Ministry of HRD at that time, which gave us this occasion to, to invite our colleagues from different universities, from different institutions, and create this content. So this is, I think, the quality improvement in higher education. So in the process, obviously, when you are writing something, when you are generating something new, you use the latest tools that are available with you, and you will find then, be it the EPG Pathshala content, or our MOOCs, or our, the classroom e-kits that we use, all of these, they involve a galaxy of pedagogies, and the teachers are given the liberty. They can combine 2 or 3 methods simultaneously and, involve the students effectively. Otherwise, the students merely through lecturing or through chalk and board, they lose the interest. So to retain this interest of the students, to prompt them into writing something and also to prompt them into, learning in a very effective way, in the way, it has been emphasized in the national education policy, or even prior to that, when we started the choice-based credit system in the university, academia. So all these are the important areas which are very crucial. Also at the same time, we find that the challenge is that how we can bring our institutions in the top level institutions of the world. So therefore, research and publications, of course, is very important. And it is not, we teach the plagiarism tools that even if we are not aware, we should not quote somebody without, giving the full acknowledgement, or we should not just reproduce what the others have said. So even if we are reproducing, we must follow the proper procedures. We must take the appropriate permissions. And also, when we are doing this, we should see that what originally is coming out of this. So therefore, mentoring by the teachers to the students is very crucial at this stage. When we are writing something, when we are doing some research on this area, the same is reflected in our teaching in the classrooms, in our teaching also. So therefore, all these are very important areas. And I'm sure in one way or the other, we have covered these. I would only congratulate Professor Vimal and Dr. Hema, Professor Bakshi, who have been, debating these issues for a very long time. And also, Professor C.S. Dubey, who himself is a leading scientist in earth sciences, he has written so much which is used by the other researchers. So therefore, I really appreciate the effort of the K.R. Mangalam University and Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, of which me and Professor Vimal are the part. So we expect that this cooperation, this kind of interaction will continue in future, and we will benefit from the experience of each other. I would request you to be a part of this group so that if something new comes, we can create it in a platform which can be shared with others. And also we get the due acknowledgement in terms of citations and other things. Thank you very much, Dr. Hemaji, for inviting me this morning to, to share my concluding thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
sir, for having graced the occasion. I request my technical team to kindly display the virtual memento slide. Sir, as a small gesture from our side, we really are thankful for the time you have spared and you made it for this event. Kindly accept this on our behalf. Requesting Debashish sir.
No problem, ma'am. I think there seems to be some problem. You can send me through the
Yes.
mail or through the
Yes,
WhatsApp.
sir. Yes.
Thank you very much for this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving ahead, we have our guest of honor and the keynote speaker of today's session, Professor Vimal Rao. Ma'am is the project head and joint director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. She is an eminent resource person and ma'am will be delivering the keynote address. I request Prashant sir to kindly introduce ma'am. Prashant sir, are you there? Yes, Prashant sir, is there a technical problem? Please let us know. I'm sorry for the delay. I think there's some problem with the. Sir, I'll be doing the needful. So Professor Vimal is a leading woman entrepreneur in the field of e-learning with a decade of experience in the corporate e-learning world and is amongst the pioneers in implementing ICT in higher education in the country. Ma'am has to her credit many research papers, a patent, books, presentations, projects, and invited talks at local, national, and international forums. In the field of e-learning, Professor Rao has made a mark at the national level in various activities such as development of e-content, teachers e-kit, MOOCs, empowerment of teachers in ICT skills, introduction of newer teaching methodologies, etc. The 4-quadrant format of e-content has been co-designed by her for EPG Pathshala project of UGC. Ma'am is also managing 3 centers working in the field of e-learning at the national level. At Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD, Government of India, she has trained more than around 70,000 teachers, for which she was recently felicitated by Union Minister Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani. At Center for E-Learning, SGTB Khalsa College, she has developed more than 50 MOOCs in 4-quadrant format for Swayam platform. She is the only chemistry teacher of the country to be awarded the National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD, Government of India, for developing ARPIT courses 3 times in a row for all chemistry teachers of India since 2018. The quality of the e-content developed by her in ARPIT courses in chemistry has been rated amongst the best in the country by MHRD. Ma'am has been contributing in policy making at national level in various committees, and also she is member of committees to review and continue the EPG Pathshala project in the next phase at UGC. She has guided development of video studios for many institutions, including for AICTE. She is currently in the committee of AICTE for technical book writing for engineering courses in around 10 regional languages for outcome-based education and NEP 2020. Ma'am has contributed towards making chemistry labs safer and environmental friendly by training teachers and lab staff across the nation, as well as she is the co-author of Lab Safety Manual for Delhi University and of Chem-Safe Lab modules for ARPIT chemistry to introduce safer and environmental friendly practices. Madam has been conferred with various awards like INSA Best Teacher Award, Edupreneur Award by Ministry of Education, Bahrain, Delhi Ratan Award, Edupreneur Innovator Award to her credits. Ma'am has designed MOOCs, have been published as one of the 3 best MOOCs from India by Department of Higher Education and Training, Australia government. As a recent feather in her cap, Ma'am has been selected as the member of the G20 consultative group on making tech-enabled learning more inclusive, qualitative, and collaborative at every level, in which Ma'am is one of the 4 experts from India for setting standards for e-learning content, technology, and pedagogy for online or digital teaching learning so that interoperability of digital learning content can be done. Ma'am, it's a real good fortune to have you with us. May I invite you to please deliver the keynote address. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hema. Good afternoon, everyone. very respected chief guest of the valedictory today, Professor Jasminder Singh, Director GAD TLC and Principal STTB Khalsa College. My gratitude to Professor C.S. Dubey, Honorable Vice Chancellor of KR Mangalam University, in whose collaboration GAD TLC is conducting this FDP. All the other distinguished resource persons who have given their valuable time in this FDP, including Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, and most importantly, all my dear colleagues who have given your time in this co-learning journey with us, all participants, my fellow colleagues from different institutions. So I welcome you all. And before I go into the keynote session, I thought looking at the course, how you have been touched upon by various requirements in terms of the quality improvements for the 21st century, that the theme of this FTP. I decided that I'll be talking about the outcome-based education and qualitative perspective, how the improvement can be done, not simply the COPO mapping of the routine thing that we are doing. So towards that, and also there is something called as National Credit Framework, which has been introduced. So all of you belonging from different institutions, many of you must be in universities directly having responsibility to start the implementation. Many at autonomous institution, again, you have the flexibility. And others who are not in autonomous or creating their, but then from the teacher's point of view, how our roles are important. I will be throwing light on that. And if you have any question, you can keep writing and we can discuss that at the later part. So Dr. Hema, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will give you an overview on how all things, including the NEP and the role of technology and all, that how we have to take it further as teachers. So when we are talking about so many reforms in terms of the policy formulation, NEP 2020 is now guiding all of the changes. Under that, now we have the National Credit Framework. So there is the overall credit framework, right from school education to higher education, that we should be aware about. And under this broader requirement, how the curriculum and the courses have to be aligned as per the outcome-based education, the COPO mapping part. Once this part is done, then in terms of implementation, outcome-based education cannot be achieved in real sense if the teaching learning methodologies are not changed. They have to be ICT empowered, and we have to be adopting blended learning, the learner-centric models. But then in order to embrace the blended learning and the learner-centric models in the classrooms where we have more than 60, 70, somewhere 90 students sitting, it is not possible unless or until we have e-content, which will be empowering both the teachers and students, and then you can talk about the blended learning. So that's where the role of quality e-content in the form of open educational resources or for online courses or MOOCs, and how it can be then implemented and used in the blended learning, we all have to be aware. Assessments is also a very, very important part. If the same assessments will keep on happening, whatever best methodology you're having inside the classroom, that again may be a wrong direction to go ahead. So assessments, especially in the light of skill-based courses being added under the NEP 2020 requirement, how do you assess a skill-based course and not just as a 2-hour or a 3-hour paper pencil mode? That will again be taking that skill course in a wrong direction of teaching learning itself. And so what are the various assessment methods that you have to embrace? I will also highlight on that. And then, yes, based on all the assessments, the proper rubrics, so how scientific and technology empowered items can be created, then you do gap analysis and periodic review. That will be only possible by having interface from university, interface of university with the industry, market, society requirement. And with that view, again, we have to be looking into that how the curriculum and courses can be improved, how our teaching learning methodologies have to be aligned. So it is going to be a continuous process, and each one of you, because of different level of tech comfort level, you will be mixing them in a different way, but then try to gradually improve because tools also will keep on changing. So I will now take briefly all these parts and try to make yourself understand around this whole change which is happening and how as teachers we have to be improving ourselves. This National Credit Framework, which is a single meta framework prepared in April 2023 by institutions from school as well as higher education who are the policy makers like UGC, AICTE, CBSE, NCERT, to name a few. This document talks about how the implementation of the so-called flexibility and mobility in NEP 2020, and also how the equivalence between general education and vocational education can be achieved. It also talks about that how the multiple entry and multiple exits will be a provision, and the students can move from technical institutions to get the degree. And yes, just a week ago, AICTE has come out that those institutions who start to offer engineering courses for the students who left out after the polytechnic courses, they will be provided opportunity even while they are working to acquire engineering degrees. So these type of reforms, which are, I think, phenomenal happening at policy making, but they will be truly implemented if each of us know about them and then we work that how it can be done in our own cases. It may obviously vary from institution to institution, but then you also have to be aware about the entire national way the things are being aligned. So it talks about the broad-based, multidisciplinary, holistic education and how can that be done as teachers and institution leaders. The old thoughts will not work. The NEP 2020 is very aspirational, and 60 students just given one choice is actually killing this policy. So the leaders have to understand that how imaginative and need-based curricular structures can be evolved, where creative combination of subjects and disciplines can be offered not by the pressure that, okay, this is how it has to be done, but a uniform way where each and every student, if they are to adapt to these, opt for these, there should be a provision provided. We should be aware about what these credit levels, credit and credit points, which we have been using these terms, but now the moment this National Credit Framework will be implemented, which will be providing multiple entry, multiple exit, all institutions will have to align to this broad requirement where the credit will have even the inclusion of experiential learning, which we had not done till now. So what are credits? Credits are a function of achieving the desired learning outcomes. And when I say learning outcomes, if you look in this definition taken from this document of National Credit Framework, that's where the outcome-based education starts. So let me complete this. Credits are a function of achieving the desired learning outcomes for a program, course, or training determined by the successful assessment. And that's where the learning outcomes and assessment, they go hand in hand. Credit is recognition that a learner has completed a prior course of learning corresponding to a qualification at a given level. And from this definition, you can make out if a student is having these many credits at these many levels, to which next level he or she can be given admission by any other institution, which again, the multiple entry, multiple exit option will be facilitated by these things. And credits are again being used in different perspectives in terms of defining the teaching hours or the learning hours. This document for the first time has talked about learning hours. So there are 30 notional learning hours, which will be equivalent to 1 credit. And if we talk about overall requirement for every level in every year, 40 credits to earn, moving from 1 year to next year. So 20 credits per semester, that will be meaning 600 notional learning hours. And additional credits can be earned beyond 40 credits. So there will be provision where the students in 1 year, they can earn more credits, and next year they earn the minimum so that they can complete more number of desired courses as per their requirements. And the same way that we have at the global level, where the students can even complete prior to the year's requirement. I foresee that that's also will be a possibility, but institutions will have to look into that possibility. Another very important thing which we have been now till now focusing the credit as just the teaching part of 1 hour per week, per semester, going into the credit of for the student. So now the learning hours will be including both the curricular as well as the co-curricular or extracurricular activities. All those co-curricular and extracurricular things which we thought they are something additionally the student is doing, now they are being brought in the mainframe, and the credits will be possible to be earned around this. This screenshot I have taken from that document, where theory 1 credit will be 15 hours. Now this is the teaching hours, fine. So if you have to take it in terms of your timetable and the workload allocation, then 1 credit will be equivalent to 15 hours. 1 credit of practical, which will be equivalent to 30 hours, so almost double the class. But then now look at the experiential learning part, where 1 credit will be 40 to 45 hours. And if you, I will prefer taking it 45. So theory is 1 time, practical will be like 2, and experiential will be 3 times that, and giving the corresponding 1 credit for all of them. This is how the levels have been put up. Start from grade 5th, the level 1. We start, then obviously grade 8 is being called as level 2. Grade 12 is being called as level 4. 10th grade will be level 3 in between. So after that, you see UG level is level 4.5 to 6. Every year there is 0.5 level. And if the student exits in first year, the certificate or in the discipline or the corresponding field, including vocational and professional areas, can be provided. If the student exits at second year, it will be diploma. Third year, it will be bachelor's degree. And fourth year, it will be bachelor degree with research or honors or engineering. Then we have PG level, and then we have PhD level. So now the credits and credit levels are very important, and combining them, you can calculate the credit points. So credit points are nothing but it's the multiplication of credit level and the credits earned. For example, if you take a UG first year, the credit level is 4.5. Overall credits earned per year is 40. So credit points earned by the student will be 180. And obviously it will depend upon the actual. So this is the broad requirement. And similarly, you can see the credit points. The vocational education credit, when we are integrating the vocational component, those skill component type of things, which Delhi University again has taken a lead and implemented NEP. And there we have introduced the skill education courses. There again, the skill courses have to be designed keeping in mind the National Skill Qualification Framework level. So there again, there are indicators And in that skill paper, the general education component cannot be more than 30 to maximum 40%. Rather, 70% should be the hands-on component in that part, and accordingly, the assessments have to be done, not simply the way we have been doing the general education component. So what are these components of learning hours which will be there? Some we are already aware about, but then what others we can take inside the credit framework, again, we have to be knowing, then only you will be innovative enough to add these new things, more of the experiential kind into your framework. So classroom teaching, learning hours, tutorials, lab work, practical projects, these again we have been doing, formative assessments, other assessments, but then activities as part of the curricular structure. So every course, it is not that we simply put theory, derivations and this. You have to reduce that part and introduce activities which will take the students into more hands-on, not simply as a separate paper, but in everywhere activities, and these are being now promoted. And that's where the outcome-based education really will be implemented. So debate, discussion, essay writing, recitation, story writing, celebration of festivals in institution, music performance, self-defense classes, value education classes, various competitions like hackathon, Olympiads, sports, physical activity, yoga, life skills-based education, employment skills, basic operational skills. Now, what I'm talking about here is from the document which will be from class 5th onwards to higher education. So not everything will fit, and you will have to see according to your courses and according to the level of the student, which all can be put up. Environment sensitivity, social and community work, gender sensitization, shramdan, cleaning, building decoration. Obviously, some of them will be at the school level and many at higher education level. Internship and apprenticeship hours, which till now only the engineering type of courses were having integral part, now are very important part as we implement the NEP 2020. And if some of you belong from, there are some states who are bringing out with the state education policy, and there also 90% things will be same as we foresee, because there are many senior academicians who are deliberating upon the NEP and some states going into deviation. But in terms of how the use of technology, in terms of the skill courses, this is something which has been globally derived. And I'm sure that there will be similar structures, but what inside has to be put up, it will not come from the top. It's all of us as teachers will have to look and understand. The SWAYAM MOOCs or online courses or the certificate type of courses as add-on, online, all these will also be a provision where the student can start earning credits. So now in this document, it is a way for implementation of holistic development of students, where not only the academic access, which was, Heba, can you put yourself on mute? Thank you. So academic access, where class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, BSc, UG, PG level, only. Can I request, there is someone who is on unmute. Dr. Hema, can you just see? I think Dr. Tabassum was.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, 1 minute. Debashish sir, can you unmute Tabassum ma'am?
Not unmute, keep it mute. I think in between there was some disturbance coming.
Okay. Ma'am, Tabassum ma'am, please, we are requesting you to mute yourself.
Thank you so much. So now there will be provision where academic access along with the skill access along with the experiential access, all can be used for earning the credits, and that is what is the change which is being envisaged and implemented through this. Coming to outcome-based education, this is again a buzzword, and NAAC and all other accrediting things, they looking for your documentary evidence that how we are trying to implement this outcome-based education. First of all, outcome-based education is a word which is being used, and OB is now very popular. It is for learning, outcome-based learning and education. So learning outcomes and their assessments, they have to go hand in hand. As a member of the Committee of Working Group for implementation of NEP 2020 and outcome-based education in engineering courses through AICT, we have analyzed various curriculum and the teaching methodology and the content around that. Everywhere there is more focus on the theoretical component, and if we look at, these are the 12 graduate attributes which are adopted by National Board of Accreditation in line with the Washington Accord. These are actually telling that any engineer coming out from our institutions, if they have to be made employable and compete at global level, they should be having these 12 graduate attributes. But then, as the committee did survey, the focus more was on PO 1, 2, 3, and the others like modern tool usage, engineering, society, environment, sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication, project management, and finance, lifelong learning. These were missing to a great extent. And so we designed a template where not only there is the course outcomes or the learning outcomes mentioned, but what activities will be introduced so that throughout the 4 years in 8 semesters, all these graduate attributes have to be checked, assessed, and then related. That will be true since the outcome-based education. So outcome-based education was first of all adopted by engineering courses, and then UGC and other regulatory bodies also came out with their graduate attributes. And here, if you look at the UGC website, you'll find there are 15 graduate attributes mentioned. So any course where we have the regulatory body coming, depending upon the different courses, you have to look into that, and they will be defining your program outcomes. So there you again, you see disciplinary knowledge is one, but the focus is on the overall development of the students as a competent professional and a good human being who can work anywhere in this world. Similarly, graduate outcomes for under the pharmacy education. This is from the Pharmacy Council, and I can see Dr. Hema herself belong from the pharmacy courses you are having. So pharmacy knowledge is again one thing, but how you have activities which can help the students into thinking abilities, planning abilities, leadership skill, professional identity, pharmacy and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, communication, modern tool usage, lifelong learning. So your teaching learning practices must be in a way where the students are prepared in this, not simply the pharmacy knowledge is, again, I want to underline this thing. So outcome-based education will mean now framing the learning outcomes and making the activities in such a way where you can prepare the student to have all these graduate attributes, and each then you should be able to assess. It's not that we say, okay, we do group discussion in the class and the leadership skills are being assessed. No, wherever it has to be in a more structured way, documented, and the POCO mapping, that's where it comes. So when you design the learning outcomes, they have to be smart, that is specific, measurable, attainable, relatively challenging, and time bound. I will rather request you, you can go from bottom up approach, make the chapter or unit outcome. That's what we have done in the AICT restructuring of the books. Then combine them, the highest part of that, and you can always take the Bloom's revised taxonomy as reference, take the work from that. So the higher level in the Bloom's taxonomy, that becomes your one of the course outcome. In the similar way, you may be having many of that in the unit outcomes. Similarly, you combine them you should be having 5 to 6 of the course outcomes, which we call as CO. And the program outcomes are the same, which are taken from the regulatory body, which is, I have told you, the 15 graduate attributes for UGC, 12 in each of the pharmacy and engineering courses. When you are writing these learning outcomes, very important thing is that it has to be measurable. If you write something and there's no question based on that, that is actually not a good learning outcome. So everything you design assessment, they have to be again map up. And that's why if you see NAC and other things, they are looking for your question papers also. Every question has to be aligned with the PO and CO mapping. So this is what is the broad framework, which all of you must be aware, those who have already implemented it, that you take inputs from industry and professional organization, design the course outcome, make the courses like that, and also keep the program outcomes in mind. Also, there are program educational objectives where you talk about what pedagogy and what type of higher order thinking skills and other skills you will be inculcating, how your course planning and delivery will be happening, and then you look at the assessment measures, and they again have to be innovation, not the same. So for every semester, you'll be having different courses. Each course can have unit outcomes, and then you can do the mapping at every level, do the unit level mapping with the CO and the CO mapping with the PO, which one for weak correlation, second for medium, and third for strong correlation can be done. But then how do you achieve these? Many institutions I'm closely working, and the input comes like, we do activities, but then we are not able to map all the program outcomes or the graduate attributes. How do we do that? So one simple tip which I'll give you is that start designing activities which are aligned with POs and take sustainable development goals as risk. Around the 17 sustainable development goals, can you identify any local small issue which your students can help do a project work like a field activity or some survey, or doing something to find solution? And that's where the things lie that we can really go into POs. The teaching learning methodologies have to be ICT empowered and blended learning. But what will be required for implementation of blended learning? You will require, no doubt, ICT infrastructure and connectivity, which I think is improving day by day. E-content, MOOCs or digital resources. Every teacher should be having a good database where some from the existing resources and some you can create your own, and many MOOCs which are there, they again can be directed to the student, not simply for the credit earning under the provision, but also for your own flipped classroom model inside the class. And the teachers have to be constantly learning around the newer tools which are coming, because that's where every day the technology is changing and we have to be keeping pace. Same way in our subject also, what new areas are coming, we have to be integrating those applications in our classroom delivery. Teachers have to be tech savvy and they have to be adopting newer pedagogies, which will help the student point of view. And that's what we say, from teacher-centric model, we have to go to now learner-centric model. What the student required, and in our classroom, different students require different type, and that is not possible in the routine lecture mode of classroom delivery that we are sticking to. So if you think the change is a problem with, obviously the inertia is always there for change, but then change is for the good, and it will be ensuring the quality enhancement. And if I take you back to history, how the teaching learning used to happen, we are all aware. But can you see this guru and some shishya sitting? Are there 30, 40 learners? No, there are only very less number of these. And how to now increase access and equity we move to more technologies where we can have more students in front in our classroom, but still the four walls are a boundary. And in the coronavirus pandemic, no student was in front of us. And that's where I say that it is the silver lining in the dark cloud, where teachers who were fearing the technology, they became comfortable. But then going back, we should not be just whatever we are writing, we are capturing. This is not the good way of making the content, but we have to improve upon how different tools, techniques, methodology, more multimedia enrichment can be done so that the quality content can be used by our learners anytime, from anywhere. So it is difficult to imagine education without quality in the 21st century. And what we believe is higher education problems can be really overcome with the help of technology, where quality, access, and equity will go hand in hand. NEP 2020 talks about extensive use of technology in teaching, learning, removing language barriers, and increasing access as well as education planning and management. So if you look at how the technology has already been integrated in higher education, MOOCs is a reality from 2015. But then still, so many MOOCs courses need to be created more, because we are still not able to provide options and electives to the student. Although there is a provision that up to 40% credit earning can happen in one particular semester by the student through these MOOCs. But then, are these MOOCs really can be fitted into the curriculum? No repetition, that the same MOOC is there in the online part and the same. So we have to be relooking this in the light of the National Credit Framework, that where these can be there, where our physical classroom and the lab setup can be used for more hands-on courses, and the theoretical part can be relegated to the online thing. And then maybe in between we have some discussions happening in offline mode. So that's the way we have to be going ahead. Options and electives were introduced not in NEP 2020, but prior in the CBCS, we already had the system of options and electives to the students given. But then, due to the physical infrastructure, we are not able to provide in a class of 60 students. Many institutions just provide one paper. Is that really an elective? No, at least 2, 3, 4. But then, if it is not possible with one institution, there should be group of institutions who can join hand and provide this. So that is again a creative way where you can look up and provide, because you have to be looking at the learner-centric requirement, why the options electives to be given. The students will be having different career progression. So all chemistry honor student or all pharmacy students will not be going into the same road, and they have to be aligned as per the different industry requirement, market requirement. That's where the choice and electives become very important. At Delhi University, again, we have provided more than 120 skill courses, and some courses are offered by the institution. And if the student is inclined to a particular skill course by different college, then we have cluster colleges which we have evolved, and there is a common timetable of 1 day where they can then go to other institution in the same area. That's why clusters, different clusters in different, looking at the mobility of the students' point of view also. And that way you can also keep on equipping your skill-based labs requirement. And that's another way where you can look up into this requirement. Many institutions who have NAAC 3.26 and above, they should really gear up of making the fully online courses and programs. This is the provision now. I happen to be the member of this committee. And here again, the quality of content is very important as you offer these courses. Otherwise, it will be just for namesake, there will not be a qualitative improvement. So when we prepare e-content, the teachers should go into all minute details in terms of the quality requirement of creating online courses, MOOCs, and how this content can be used in the blended learning. But why we need this e-content, even in a face-to-face scenario, is because if we are into lecture mode, it is just 5% of the learning happening from the student's point of view. If reading is added, it goes to 10%. But the audio visual things will increase it to 20%. Demonstration will increase to further 30%. Group discussions to 50%. Practice by doing, that's where the experiential learning hands-on is 75%, and teach others is 90%. I think that's what we are, all teachers, we think that after 30-35 years, we know the subject very well. It is because we are into teaching, but the students don't have those many number of years inside your classroom. So you have to be looking into learner-centric requirement, not the way you are comfortable into having that particular area best managed by you as an expert. No, you have to be looking into adding activities, having discussion in the class, showing some demonstration, and then adding this audio visual part. So all that will guide you to make the content. I have seen 90% of the content is just like whatever is in the books. We are just reading, writing the same thing and getting captured. This is just a replication of whatever level of classroom delivery of that very particular individual teacher is. It is not going to integrate those tools which will enhance the learning, and that's where it has to be multimedia enrichment. So subject-specific requirement as well as technical specific. This is a detailed 1-week FDP we do on content creation. And this slide is just telling you how the instruction designing you have to do as per the level of learner to create a good quality content. And now there are credits which you can earn for contribution into this. And as a standard, because the content can be created in many ways, you can have, some may have just 2 videos. I have created entire course, entire MOOC, and some will be having maybe 200 videos. So there's a uniformity in terms of the quantity and the minimum things that you have to add, which is this 4-quadrant approach. So 4-quadrant for e-content, where I evolved this along with Professor Bakshi in the EPG Pathshala project, which was accepted for all 77 subjects. There are 4 components here. There is video, which we are calling as self-learn. E-text, there is a written detailed text or lesson around that particular content. The no more is there, and the self-assessment part is there. MOOCs also, there is a 4-quadrant approach. All the written material is 1 quadrant. The videos or the demonstrations are 1 quadrant. Discussion forum is other, and the assessment part where you have quizzes and online assessments, assignments and all, that will be in the quadrant 4. So these are compulsory for any institution. If we are making a proper online course or a MOOC, then you should be preparing yourself in a very structured approach so that these parameters are being met. Just some glimpses you can see here. Hello, everyone. Myself, Dr. Vimal Raj, and I am the coordinator of National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD, Government of India, at SCTV Khalsa College, University of Delhi.
And myself, Professor A.K. Bakshi. We welcome you all to the ARPAID 2019, which is going to provide you a unique opportunity to learn as per your convenience. For this online refresher course, we have selected a variety of interesting and exciting topics,
So that these are useful for all the UG and PG chemistry
which have been developed
and So, use.
which
You can
will
see
bring
the different
talk.
multimedia enrichment that we have
can
done.
save lab modules
we will focus on various measures to be
on CAM.
through the module side. So there was just a glimpse. Let me go back now. So there is so much that you have to be looking into the requirements of creating a good quality content, including also the fair use guidelines. And if this is some open educational resource, can you really use it in a free type of resource? Or if you're creating OER, yes, but then if you're creating something which is your copyright thing, then there will be stricter compliance that you have to go through. Plagium checking tools are also very important for you to use even in your assignments the students are submitting, because most of the time they are just copying and pasting. It will be good that if you can integrate these tools when they submit, you tell them the no, you submit again till it is brought down to a particular level. If you want to know how the MOOCs function, and this is a very general type of MOOC which is ongoing on SWAYAM platform created by us in collaboration with the NGO, which is Indian Cancer Society. And you can complete that to know how the quality has to be, how the module structure and all has to be there. Assessment methods have to be scientifically designed, and continuous and extensive use of technology is being talked about in NEP 20. It talks about revamping the assessments. How do you do revamping? Not by giving the same question paper from the last 10 years or 20 years we are giving. And every assessment should be mapped with COs and POs, and that is what is outcome-based education. Because if you look at the purpose of assessment, assessment can be of learning, it can be for learning. And now the thing which is being emphasized is assessment as learning. We have to be making assessments during the formative as internal, where we can integrate these projects, other things I'll talk about. So assessment of learning is something we are very much confident and equipped with, but for and as is something we have to be looking. So for written assignment, any questions you are preparing, do the tagging with Bloom's taxonomy, use Plagium tools, and if it is formative, the feedback has to be very important. And especially when we are looking for now new courses which will have component of skill, we should also know how the psychomotor and affective domain can be tested. They cannot be just tested by the routine paper pencil mode. So we should be using multiple assessment methods for measuring the attainment of LOs, which will include diverse attributes to be measured, and that will be like from each learner point of view, we can assess them in different manner. So apart from tests, exams, quizzes, assignments, you should be now integrating individual and group projects. Definitely, this is very important requirement in every course. Try integrating this in your lesson plans, and portfolio, etc. type of things can be added. Role plays, concept maps, group discussion, blogs, debate, recitation, but provided you make it as a structured activity mapped with the PO and CO, and then do the assessment. Assessments have to be done for both the individual performance, where you have different instruments used, and even portfolio is something which is now being advocated, that every student should be having their portfolios ready. A portfolio is nothing but a systematic collection of students' work that represents student activities, accomplishment, and achievements over a specific period of time. And this we should be able to document and monitor for their continuous evidence of progression, that yes, from initial level to enhanced level of skill, how they have improved. Presentations will make our students to be having the 21st century skills, important part, where presentation, their communication skills, how they interact in groups and all. So whenever you give a group work, tell them to present, and definitely this teamwork skills and how they will be managing time, they will be working with each other. All these skills, they get developed when we give them these type of projects. Apart from presentation, you can also tell them to submit a report and use the Plagium tool. Tell them that we will be, let them prepare as a group, but then they have to be very clear that they can not just copy and paste from anywhere it is. And while designing these projects, look at the real life applications, industry, society. That's where you'll get the idea. And you have to be creative in this way that every time you have to be looking into a newer idea where you can design. So every batch should be a change. Otherwise, outside your university, your ex-students will open shop and say that us madam ke projects to yahan milte hain, you can buy and sell. So that should not be the way. And that's where I think the problem lies. So we have to be really innovative in designing projects. And we also should be knowing the tools for e-assessment, because now with the help of technology, you can reduce your assessment, the formative assessment part, by taking more number of objective questions and not simply MCQ. You can have true, false, drag and drop, numerical, audio-based questions, video-based questions, crosswords. But where to put all this data, you also will have to be equipping yourself with the learning management system, where all the feedback analysis can be just done in no time. And this provides a structured approach. You should also be working in groups in your institution to create question banks. And when you do so, try aligning each question subjective as well as objective around the Bloom's taxonomy. And this again has to be mentioned when you look in outcome-based education. BL1, BL is the Bloom's taxonomy level. So BL1 will be remembering, BL2 will be understanding, BL3 will be applying, BL4 will be analyzing, BL5 will be evaluating, and BL6 will be creating. So in your projects, in your routine question paper, every marks that you're giving has to be aligned with your CO, PO, and the Bloom's level, is what is one more thing which is now being emphasized by NAAC type of bodies. Bloom's digital taxonomy is also there. So you can even get ideas in terms of designing activities through this. So here again, you can see if the students are just copying or highlighting or searching anything, that is at the remembering level. But as you go to blogging or filming or podcasting, or they're directing, so you give a project and tell them, okay, you also make a 5 to 10 minutes documentary or a video type of thing, and then you'll see they will be able to do all these things, and you'll be like quite confident in this, how we can really ensure all those graduate attributes that we talk about. Plagium tools I talked about. If you also, as you move to projects, you should know how to design a rubrics, and the student also should be told right in the beginning that I will be assessing this project on these particular parameters. So rubrics is nothing but a scoring or a grading tool that contains a list of criteria and benchmark standard and used to score and grade assessment tasks or learning outcomes. And when you do checking any online assessment, then proctored online examination, because if we are looking for credibility of degrees and certificates, examination need to be proctored. And we should be putting all measures like NTA, any national level examination, even CUET, IIT entrance and all, it is being done by NTA. So various centers, and then everywhere the proctoring is done. Now the tools are also for gamification, which you can integrate into your teaching, learning and assessment parameters. Do the gap analysis once you have done the COPO mapping for every student, that okay, this is what was to be achieved, but this is how the reality is there. And then you can come to know the gap analysis as per the existing metrics which you all have handy. If not, you can really look up for the outcome-based education parameters by your regulators and adopt that. Teachers have to upgrade their technical skills right from basic skills of Word doc, PowerPoint, Excel, use of audio, video, animations, your subject-specific software. Those who want to now go further in their own videos and online courses, they should know how to be better in front of these cameras, the voice modulation, the skills of a performer, I will say, and it will also help you in your classroom delivery. Like we had, so all these are artificial tables and backgrounds, and you can add up. So some basics of graphic and video development tools you can have. So see, this is how the original was there, and later on after. And OERs, you should again have a detailed in-depth understanding. And learning management system, once you acquire now, it is compulsory as per various regulators that you should be having learning management system in your institution. So as individual level, you will be able to manage that, or a group of teachers who are already knowing LMS, they can contribute for state or national level open educational resources, or even you can go into your own copyright content publishing, provided you know this. So then you know how the LMS can be used for various things, designing the entire structure, content uploading, the different type of questions and so on. So at the end, I will like to just mention this quote that life is the most difficult exam and many people fail. Why do they fail? Because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper, and what we are doing in our assessments is, or in our teaching learning methodology is, we are trying to make all the students similar, answering the same type of question. I think there is a serious change which is required, and we all should be continuously improving ourselves to make it better and better. So with these words, thank you everyone. And any questions, I'm here to answer those.
I request the participants to please write in the Q&A section or chat box. I believe there is no question popping up.
So all the best to all. And once again, I thank entire team of KR Mangalam University, especially Dr. Hema, you and the other organizers. My special thanks to again Vice Chancellor Dubey sir for organizing this joint event with us. We look forward for many more events. And thanks to all the resource persons who have contributed their time and in our team, right from Professor Bakshi sir to Professor Jaswinder Singh sir and my entire technical team also. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much. And this wouldn't have been possible without your support. And you have been great support, and definitely, ma'am, the entire team at GAD TLC has been very supportive, entertaining our queries and helping us out as and when needed. So I take this platform to extend my sincere thanks to each one of them. Taken your message very well, and your learnings are very clear. I hope every teacher participant will get benefited, and we understand that within each of us lies an untapped reservoir of potential, and maybe we were just waiting to be awakened by the spark of motivation which you have set alight. And ma'am, with a sense of gratitude, we present to you a virtual memento for being in the event as guest of honor and having delivered the keynote address. Kindly accept on entire team, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We come to the next segment of our valedictory session, that is participant sharing. So we leave the house open because the feedback is definitely an integral part of the activity, because through this, we understand, we get suggestions how we can make ourselves much better. So the house is open, and we request the participants to please be vocal. You can raise your hand so that we can unmute you, or you can write in the chat box or Q&A section. So please come forward and give us your views on this FDP.
Maybe I think they are not able to unmute themselves. They are.
Sunil sir, can we unmute everybody for time being? Ma'am, there's one hand going up. Sneha madam has written in the Q&A section. Should I go ahead, ma'am, or?
I think you can tell, because others cannot read. It's only the panelists who can see that.
Okay, ma'am, it's an amazing session. All the session conducted are very informative.
Okay,
Thank you, Sneha madam. Thank you. This.
I think Dr. Basavaraj is.
Yeah,
Yes,
good morning,
Basavaraj.
madam. Good morning. I would like to thank firstly, the Professor Chandrasekhar Dubey sir, Vice Chancellor, KR Mangalam University, for conducting such a wonderful one-week national online faculty development on initiative for fostering quality higher education in India for 21st century. I was overwhelmed, madam, by the resource persons giving different kinds of knowledges that based on their experience. It was very wonderful session, actually, listening to them all right from the day one, from Dr. B. Suresh, Professor Vice Chancellor, JSS Academy, sharing his personal experiences regarding how he built up the empire of JSS Academy of Higher Education, and then being a premium university, as well as sustaining that university in the rank list. And I would also like to thank various resource persons like Professor Bakshi sir, and then who was actually talking about a lot of things about the teacher as an academic leader in higher education. A lot of quotes were very interesting, and then based on, they have put on their life experiences actually into this talk. Even Janki Raman, who was ex-senior vice president of vertical head Cadler Pharma, he had nice talks on revamping healthcare marketing, sales, and digitalization. The overall, like madam, the talks were very interesting and very knowledge-based contents were there in the lectures. Overall, by those talks, and then we would look forward for such interesting sessions in the future as well, madam. Thank you for giving such an opportunity to be a part of this FTP program.
And when you fill up the feedback form, do tell us that what more you will like to learn. That will help us grow our further FTPs also.
Yeah, I've been doing it in this feedback. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll do it in feedback. Thank you very much.
Yes, someone else will like to unmute and.
Two more inputs in Q&A section. One is by Dr. Jyotiram Arjun Savale. Madam, all the sessions were so much informative and useful for us. The speakers chosen were very much eminent. Thanks for this wonderful FDP.
Thank you, Dr. Jyotiram.
Kamala Chandak, Madam from SKB COP, Nagpur. Madam writes, congratulations and thanks a lot to organizers for this very informative FDP and giving us an opportunity to listen to various stalwarts.
Thank you.
Is there any more input? Ma'am, again, there's a lot of write-up in Q&A. We welcome if you can raise your hand and you can be vocal.
Yeah, you can. I think Vandana is raising hand.
Yeah, heartiest congratulations, Sarhima. I mean, though of course I'm part of being organizer as the APTI Women Forum convener, I have attended most of the sessions, and as I indicated, the sessions which I missed, I have actually gone to YouTube and replayed them and seen. That itself indicates that yes, no, the planning was really very well done. All the speakers whom you have contacted, and they have without any inhibitions shared all their experiential learning. And really thankful to you also, Professor Vimal, for taking us through the whole NEP in this brief time. I mean, it is a task, I know, and your slides are wonderful, meaning there's so much learning even from the presentation and the slides also. So all in all, a very well organized FDP, I would say, and there is a take home value for each one of us. Not only, I think, on the professional front, even on the personal front, like how to make slides is something which I would learn, and that will help me in profession. So thank you once again from APTI for taking this task of disseminating education in such a beautiful way forward. Thank you, Professor Rehma.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Vandana. It was a pleasure interacting with you, and we look forward for more collaborative events with you also.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am Tamil Selvi, ma'am from KMCH COP Coimbatore has written, very informative session, ma'am. Thank you for the organization to conduct this event. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, ma'am. We have input from Bola Nagamani, ma'am. Wonderful sessions. Expecting a few more sessions in future.
I think one more comment is coming for Professor Bakshi, sir. Much enlightened by the diversity. I think the way he motivates through his in the last section of the quotes.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
also for our entire life. It's not simply our teaching profession, but for us to groom ourselves into better human beings also. Yeah, thank you.
Ma'am, there are two questions from Amandra Pratap Yadav, sir. First question is, how might the tenets and benefits of social emotional learning inform my curriculum assessment and instruction?
See, Dr. Amindra, I cannot be exactly precise with your query, but you'll have to identify in your teaching learning process, whatever curriculum you're having, can you involve students into some activity where taking the flaw from the society or that social emotional learning, how you can integrate into your some of the group activity and then align with your course. And SDG is one of the way where you can do it on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, but that is not all. You have, see, what I feel is we are nurturing the entire future generations in our classroom. So apart from just like many of you must be from pharmacy background, and in Corona time, there were so many ugly stories which came from the so-called our educated lot is 80 rupees ki medicines they are saying selling in 80,000. Now, can there be these type of ethical things and unethical things integrated when you're discussing some case study? So look into that perspective. I think that is how your curriculum, assessment, and instruction will all go into a different mode. So try to integrate the real life application, the challenges, the problems which are around. And you look at now, go back to your regulatory requirements, pharmacist and society, that says it all. So many expired medicine I have heard are being repackaged and then sold again. I think,
I think, ma'am, Tamil Selvi, ma'am,
as,
ma'am, please.
as host, you can mute. Just tell Dr. Sunil, yeah, that. So you have to be looking in that perspective and try to integrate that. I hope, Dr. Amrinder, am I clear in some way? Okay.
There's one more question from Amindra sir. How can I make my teaching more sustainable for me personally?
See, what I will say is, I'll reword this question. Don't look at sustainability and all. First of the thing, we should be loving our profession. If you go back and look at those Guru and Shishya, पेड़ के नीचे बैठ करके लर्निंग होती थी, कोई बोर्ड नहीं था, पत्तों पे लिखा जाता था, पेड़ों पे लिखा, उस पे स्टोन्स पे. But what those gurus, how they chose that profession, I will, whatever small understanding I have, I will like to share. That is, they were those personalities, profession, so that they can transfer their information, knowledge, wisdom to the next generation before they die. Now, that type of responsibility, I think, if we start having and we really have passion towards teaching, learning, it will be really enjoyable and sustainable. Why not? Okay. So I wish all of you do that. We are in the noblest profession. All professions are getting groomed, and the entire society is getting groomed inside our classroom. So let's take outcome-based education in that sense, not simply to transact those unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in isolation. So that is what is my humble request to all of you is. Yes, any other question?
Ma'am, there is one comment by Dr. P.V. Madhavi Lata. Ma'am writes, very informative sessions, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And please do tell us what hands-on you want to make us learn, because then we do a repeat of hands-on FTPs also, because I have given you overview what all need to learn, but then it has to be a continuous process that we'll have to go through. Fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think, Hema, we can proceed with the closing.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I just have one announcement for all the participants that they need to be aware of the follow-up activities on completion of this FTP. Kindly submit the overall feedback of the FTP, the link of which we will be sharing on WhatsApp group as well as on My Class platform. All are requested to kindly submit 2 MCQ-based online quizzes having 10 questions each. They will be evaluated. Kindly submit 1 assignment individually, which will be posted on My Class. And each participant is requested to complete 1 project, which will be again posted on My Class. All these assignments, projects, and quiz on evaluation, scoring will be considered, and participants scoring 50 or above out of a rating of 100, e-certificates of successful completion with unique codes and grades will be issued. And in case anybody falls short of the scoring of less than 50, that is up to 49, e-certificates of participation with unique codes and grades will not be provided. Only the certificate of participations will be made available. And I request, if anybody has availed duty leave for attending this online FTP, you are requested to kindly send us the copy of the duty leave so that the relieving letters can be issued.
Thank you. And I think if you there is some query on like hands-on FDP. We keep on conducting many hands-on as well as this part. So I'll request that you can join our Telegram groups and please share that information with your fellow colleagues also. Because the change will come not simply in your classroom, it will be only possible when all teachers in higher education are adapting that. And then only then will be. Otherwise, it will happen that teacher is doing in this mode and this is way. So if you have to go into entire institutional reform, the way I structured it in the coming years, then we all have to be on same page in terms of this understanding. So with these, thank you once again, all of you. Please complete your activities, assignment, projects, and as Dr. Hema mentioned, so we will not be able to give you completion certificate. Definitely the learning will be there. We will be able to give you the certificate of just attending, but along with grades, if you require for CAS requirement, then all the assignment, projects, and quizzes have to be submitted. Fine. So just don't go by the marks that just by project I'll be able to get that marks. Everything has to be submitted. Then only then it will be qualifying for checking and finally giving you certificate of completion. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Well, we are getting a lot of more compliments pouring in, ma'am.
Okay, in the Q&A section, yeah,
Yes,
I have shared the email ID and the Telegram link in the chat. Maybe I'll post it again. No, this is only for host and panel. The participant cannot see. Ravi, just change the setting of this chat that all the participant can see. Hema, just tell your technical team.
ma'am, I'll have to tell them.
Or you have the WhatsApp group of these.
Yes, ma'am, we have a WhatsApp group.
So I am
So,
posting you a message, just forward that in your
yes,
WhatsApp.
ma'am, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, do that. And any collaborative activity, if you want to do it from your institution point of view, then also you can directly write to us.
Ma'am, we'll proceed with the vote of thanks.
Yeah, please.
Well, as we come to the close of this transformative faculty development program, I take the opportunity with a profound sense of gratitude and pride of thanking each one of you for having been present and made this event a success. I want to take this moment to extend my sincere appreciation to each and every one, especially the invited speakers and resource persons for having made it possible. Throughout the week, we have explored a myriad of topics, challenged conventional thinking, and embraced innovative pedagogies. So I'm sure together we have formed a supportive community of educators united by a common purpose, that is to empower and uplift our students, equipping them with the skills and mindsets needed to thrive in an ever-changing world. In conclusion, let us remember that learning is a continuous journey. As we bid farewell to this faculty development program, let us look forward to the future with renewed vigor and determination. Thank you all for your active participation, your unwavering commitment to education, and your dedication to making a positive impact on the lives of those we teach. With heartfelt thanks and best wishes for all our future endeavors. Now, may I request the ardent gathering to rise and stand up as we honor our nation with the playing of the national anthem.
I think, Hema, there is no audio coming.
Devashish sir, please play the audio. Audio, sir.
Maybe he is on mute on this machine.
के बेल आइकन को प्रेस करें जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
To enjoy ever.
Thank you all. Well, with the promise to meet again in the pursuit of knowledge, guided by the values that define us as educators and citizens of this great nation, I take leave and thank one and all and bid all of them a bye. Please take care. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.